Hello friends, it is Catherine, Conscious Creatrix, 5D Visionary. Hello. I have a question for you. Do you already channel benevolent energies, communicate with higher perspectives, and do you do this for self-healing? Do you do this for your clients? Do you have clear and articulate energy between you and your higher self when you communicate with your higher self or higher selves, because there's more than one? Hi Christine, hi Courtney, hello ladies, thanks for watching. And if you don't possess this gift now, is this something that you would like to cultivate? Is this something that you would like to learn and know how to do and be able to have not only the guidelines and instructions, but kind of, the lay of the land in terms of the ideology, the emotional frequency that you need to hold behind it? Is that something that you're interested in? So if you are, you're really in luck. And this is if you already do channeling of benevolent energies only. And if you are also interested in being able to cultivate this as a gift, hi Lorette. There are reasons why we channel benevolent energies. One of the reasons why I do it in particular is because I love being at that level of connection. And anytime that we do that, it is a prerequisite that we be holding a higher frequency, and that we literally make ourselves a vessel or a container for higher vibrational resonance so that we can be available to communicate at this level, okay? So I, a little while ago, taught a Channeling Masterclass, and it's all about learning how to clear, protect, and ground your energy, how to channel safely, because it's very important. You don't want to bring in anything dark or negative. And I give you the tools to do this with some confidence, because a lot of people, when they're channeling, they're not confident. And when you're not confident, it's not like you do it wrong, but you could be bringing in something that, is not necessarily very healthy for you to bring in, or something that feels darker, and then it's harder to get rid of it that way. So channeling responsibly, protecting yourself, grounding and clearing your energy is super important. But you also need to learn how to access and maintain a connection with the Theta State of being when you're channeling. It helps you be the purest and clearest vessel. This is how I channel. And why I channel and why I teach channeling the way that I do is because I receive lots and lots of messages transmitted from source consciousness and different collectives. And at a certain point in my life, I was receiving them so fast and furious, and they were coming in at such a rapid rate, I didn't know what the hell to do with any of it. I didn't know how to process it. I didn't know how to protect and ground my energy and center myself so I could be the clearest vessel and purest conduit possible. Very, very important. I can't overstate that. But also being grounded in 3D, in your 3D body, while you are accessing these benevolent energies really allows you to get the clearest information and downloads possible. So for those of you who just want to do this for your own edification, for your own self-healing, or for those of you who want to do this because you want to bring in greater gifts to your clients of clarity, because we are moving into quite an interesting portal of energy. Well, it's always interesting if you ask me, but where a lot more downloads are to come in, because we are accessing increasingly higher light quotients coming in to our planetary existence here down in 3D. Hi, Sarah. And we don't know what to do with it. Courtney says, definitely listening, no pun intended. Awesome, very nice. We want to make ourselves as available as possible to receive the highest amount of information, because a lot of us have questions. A lot of us are feeling confused. A lot of us are feeling overwhelmed. And those of you who communicate with your guides, whether you're using that as a healing tool for your clients or you're using that for self-healing, it doesn't matter. Being able to communicate with your guides with a lot more clarity doesn't necessarily mean they're going to give you specific answers to the questions that you're asking, because often we are asking the wrong questions here in 3D, because we get wrapped up in the filter of our ego persona. But they do give us a lot of guidance when we have a clear and seamless line of communication. Our guides collectives, those of us who think of, communicating with ascended master or whatever, it's not a singular being. It's always a collective. Even if it's Kuan Yin or ascended master Jesus, it's always a collective. It's never a singular energy. That's just not the way it works up there. It's informed by a collective. And so when we get a more seamless, clear line of communication, they give us a lot of guidance on how to ask better questions and how to be more tuned in and be more open to the fullness of life. Because when we are open to the fullness of life, we are open to so many different, I don't want to say answers, but opportunities for ways of being that we hadn't discovered or even thought to explore before. And opening ourselves up to this way of being, opening up to the fullness of life, is really about emptying ourselves first of all that we are not. So that's a big part of being vibrationally available for channeling. But what is really amazing about being open to this level, this vibration of resonance, so that you can channel, is that being able to maintain this resonance more often than not, instead of like thinking of channeling as something that you go into for maybe an hour a day and you communicate and do it for a group that you happen to be teaching, or you do it for yourself for self-healing. Maybe you do Reiki on yourself, and part of how you self-heal is to communicate with your guides as you are doing Reiki, or you are working on a client, you are doing some one-on-one work. And so we often think of like channeling as something that happens, maybe once a day if we're really doing this a lot, or maybe once a week or once a month. But being vibrationally available for this resonance, okay, means that we go into this 5D level of awareness or beyond more often throughout the day. And if we are using tools and adopting a way of being that activates this 5D blueprint, which is already available for many of us who already feel like we're here to lead the planet in some way in this ascension process, or at least be a light bearer, be an information giver, be a way shower. If you are one of those people that resonates with that identity for yourself or that ideal for yourself, your post-ascension shift blueprint, I wrote a post about this today, is already here. It's just that we're not fully embodying it, but we can be. And we do that through using tools that resonate at this frequency. So this is why I created consciousness mechanics. And consciousness mechanics are the tools and the technologies that are only available at the resonance of 5D and beyond, meaning you can't use them. They're inactive if you are not resonating at a frequency where you are vibrationally available to use them, okay? So if you're still stuck in your 3D victimhood and playing the martyr, and you're in victim consciousness in any way, shape, or form, you will not be able to use these tools. It would be like, having a wall clock that runs on 2 AA batteries and you're expecting the clock to work, but you've only got 1 AA battery. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work at all. So it's the same way with using these tools and technologies. And these tools and technologies are a result of my being able to channel and convert, let's just say, this information that came in for me that at one time was very hard to disseminate and very hard to figure out. But through enriching my understanding of channeling and practicing with channeling a lot, I'm talking a lot, I was able to disseminate this information and turn it into, because I'm an alchemist and I'm a passage creator, I'm all about being a passage creator and an alchemist in this lifetime, meaning I take things that kind of exist in the ethereal and the nebulous and seem kind of out there and very esoteric and give them a passageway or a bridge where they can be understood and used and practically applied right now. That's what consciousness mechanics is all about, by the way. And there's 8 different technologies. And these are all a result of me being able to channel these benevolent energies and communicate with higher perspectives and collectives over the last 2.5+ years. So what's really interesting about these tools that I share in consciousness mechanics, if you're already doing channeling or if you want to cultivate that as a gift, using these tools and technologies allows you to be better at channeling or to cultivate that gift a lot more easily because you're already in the resonance of 5D. And some of these tools that we use, we go into 60, 70, even up to 90, based on the different perspectives that they come from. So where do these tools come from? The perspectives that I have been able to, let's just say, download the information from and bring these tools to life, let's just say, in 3D. So In consciousness mechanics, we have these tools that come in from the Arcturian perspective, the Sirian perspective, and the Orion star system perspective, the Lyran perspective. I have a legacy of Lyran perspective in my own genetic material because I worked in Lemuria, and those of us who have a Lyran stellar perspective helped to set up Lemuria and basically get that civilization going. And I had many lifetimes in Lemuria and Atlantis and Lyran star systems, so that's kind of my legacy. But also Sirius as well, because Sirius is all about working with the DNA, and the Arcturians are about, you know, being the ambassadors of the galaxy. The Arcturians are really wonderful at being able to help us understand more compassion. And the Cassiopeian star system, which is all about compassion and very, very high frequencies of love. And so, and that's not all of them, by the way. There's also the Pleiadian perspective. Hello. A lot of this information comes from primarily the Pleiadian perspective. And when we work with these perspectives, we are resonating at the frequencies that these perspectives resonate at wherever they're from. We are communicating along that seamless line of communication because we are in that frequency. So if you are attempting to, let's just say, communicate with your ascended masters, and we often think of that anywhere from being the fifth to the ninth dimension, and sometimes even up to the 12th dimensional awareness when we are working with ascended masters. How do you think you would be able to communicate that much better with those perspectives if you're using tools to go into that frequency all the time, like throughout your everyday way of being often? And how well do you think you'd be able to channel if you go through 8 weeks of communicating with these higher frequencies of anywhere from the 5th to the 9th, and even in some cases up to the 11th dimension in using some of these tools? It'd be really amazing, right? So you're not only, you know, learning how to access the higher self and your higher selves through this consciousness mechanics book and program, but you are getting practice and going into these frequencies and making it part of your normal. Because here's a little snapshot of the future, my friends. Those of us who are, you know, talking about things like I'm talking about right now, and it may seem still for some of you, you know, we might be, you know, shying away from this because it sounds too out there, it sounds too nebulous, it doesn't sound normal at all. But here's a little snapshot of our future, my friends. This is going to become the normal for those of us who already feel like we're leading the charge in some way by, you know, removing lower thought forms and opening ourselves up to the fullness of life, opening ourselves up to our heart center, which is our multidimensional operating system when we operate from the higher heart. Those of us who are opening up to that and trying to lead our life from that perspective and that higher source consciousness vantage point. Those of us who we're on the first wave of being, you know, the way showers and the light bearers and the thought leaders, because we're already there. We already know that, you know, this stuff is pretty normal. And for where we're going, it's going to become the normal. It may not feel that way right now. And a lot of us on the planet are mired in an incredible amount of confusion and overwhelm. But here's how we opt out of that. Here's the bridge. Here's the passage. And let's just say, I don't want to say my purpose, because I don't really believe in purpose. The way I create meaning for myself and meaning for my expression of who I am is just one singular expression, one thread of source consciousness. How I create meaning through being that expression is being a passage creator here. And that's what this program is all about. So what I'm doing with offering this 8-week program, and there's a book as well, so that starts on September 19th. The book gets issued to you along with the companion program where I teach you these 8 technologies of consciousness mechanics, activating and applying the technologies of 5D to our 3D reality now. If you sign up at the full price for it, you're going to get the Channeling Masterclass bundle, okay? Hi, Pamela. And like I said, this is about being able to responsibly and with a lot of integrity ground and protect yourself and be a clear vessel, a clear conduit for energy. Learn how to access and maintain a connection with the Theta States to help you be the purest and clearest vessel to receive messages and transmit them, okay, as you can possibly be. You learn how to connect with your higher self and the higher self of others. for quick and profound benefits, whether you're doing healing, work with clients or not, or you just want to use it for your own self-healing. You get recorded practice sessions with connecting to your higher self in this masterclass bundle. And you receive a 29-page Channeling Masterclass ebook. Okay, so it's complete with all kinds of scripts for energy healing and grounding, reading your client's energy, accessing higher frequency energies through channeling. And that's $149 value, and I'm putting it on as an added bonus if you sign up at the full price for Consciousness Mechanics. So I want to say this in closing, what's really amazing at being able to work with these tools is having that direct, seamless line of connection of working with these higher star perspectives. So some of you that I'm talking to, I know you already have a very strong link with Arcturian energy. Some of you who are watching the replay, who I know are going to be watching this replay later, I already know you have a very strong connection with Lemurian energy. I already know you have a very strong connection with Sirian and Pleiadian energy. I see you out there. And I know many of you have very strong connections with Ascended Masters and the collective energies of Ascended Master Jesus or Ascended Master Kuan Yin. Those of you who like to work in deeper stuff in the halls of Amenti and working with Ascended Master Thoth like I do, I hear you, I see you. So this is an incredible opportunity to work very tangibly and practically with these higher stellar perspectives, and not only have a seamless line of communication with them, but bring yourself into the embodiment of those frequencies. Only magical things happen when you are in this place. So if this speaks to you, I really want to invite you to come into this program. You know, I keep trying to go live and bring in these different perspectives, and I'm not the greatest at marketing my material, I'll be totally honest with you, so I don't always know what to say, because I feel like my excitement gets so wrapped up in what it feels like for me to bring these in, and I feel like sometimes I'm not communicating fully to you the benefits of being able to do that. So very quickly, you know, some of the benefits of being able to work with these perspectives, these higher stellar perspectives, these collectives of energies, these ascended masters, it feels very, very amazing to be able to work with these energies, and a lot of different things happen when you start working with them. So you are able to honor your power as a shaper of all, meaning you are the shaper of every single aspect and the creator of every single aspect of your experience. And this really gets grounded as a knowledge within you. Some of us are still connecting with it in a really conceptual way. We don't get fully that we are the creators of experience. This grounds within you this idea that you are the shaper of all when you start working with these higher stellar perspectives and these tools and technologies of consciousness mechanics. You're able to redefine and refine your entire way of being. So when you do that, you challenge the paradigm of the inner power structures that you've held before, where you think that your mind is controlling your experience. That's not the way it is at all. You begin to decipher your unique encoding of healing, because we all have different ways of healing. There's one technology we work with very profoundly where you'll understand how you heal and the timeline on which you heal. Movement into the fullness of life. That's how you feel when you work with these technologies. You work with your genetic design for the highest expression of health, wealth. You have a deepened understanding of the matrix, which holds all constructs for ways of being that were not vibrationally available to you before, okay? You move out of conflict. You move out of judgment. Judgment is one of the biggest things that keeps a barrier for us to accessing these higher levels of perspectives, because judgment really keeps us in the energy of 3D. So you move out of conflict just by being in these frequencies. You're not vibrationally available for judgment, conflict, hatred, competition, manipulation, domination, separation, because the variations of these lower emotions are no longer frequencies that attract your attention or hold interest for you. How great does that sound? That's worth the price of the course right there. Let me see the comments. But you are great at marketing your material because you have a powerful voice and perspective, and you are you. That is very sweet, Pamela. Thank you. And Courtney, who agrees with that. You are very, very kind, and I'm humbled by that. Thank you. You get to manifest and direct your creations in 3D, because we're not moving out of, when we access these energies, you're still, as long as you're in a body, you are still in 3D, but when you are accessing these higher resonances, and yes, it is you're totally capable of holding the frequency of different timelines and different perspectives of frequency all at the same time. That's what's amazing about being in a 3D body here on Earth at this time. So when you access these technologies, you manifest and direct your creations in 3D from the perspective of your highest good and the highest good of all, because you're connected in full unity consciousness. And you access these manifestations quickly. Why? Because what we perceive as time here in 3D actually moves much faster at higher frequency ways of being. So if we are in these multiple timelines and multidimensional realities and ways of being all at once, if you're manifesting and directing your desires and creations in 5D and receiving them in 3D, some cases it shows up instantaneously. Because at higher frequency levels of being, manifestation shows up very, very quickly. Time moves very, very quickly. And then you have the vantage point of a variety of perspectives. So I just named a few here, but there are many, many parallel realities and perspectives and stellar perspectives beyond the ones that I mentioned here that you can access at any given time when you are accessing your post-ascension shift blueprint. And don't worry, I talk about that a lot more in my book and in the Consciousness Mechanics program. But you really understand how you are standing in your power as a multidimensional being, because you're at the superconscious level of your consciousness. And you see yourself as a creator, as a shaper of all parts. Like, you finally get it. That's the best way I can explain it, is that when you're working with these tools and technologies and in the frequency of these higher stellar perspectives, it's like you finally get it. You get who you are. You get the fact that you can be many, many things at once. And the only thing that has kept you from that is the limitation of your own consciousness, okay? And your own belief system, your own lower thought forms, all of those things. And you're able to direct your intentions and desires at will because you no longer see yourself as just an individual through the filter of ego. You rather see yourself as one expression of source, a thread of that matrix. And you act responsibly as a frequency holder of all. This changes everything. This changes everything, okay? And I could sit here and I could explain it all day, but as you'll find, as we move into these higher perspectives, these higher timelines, it's extremely experiential. So I can't tell you what your experience is going to be. I can give you guidelines of what it might feel like. But when you ground that into your being, it's going to feel completely more expanded than that. And you're going to have your own definition and be able to refine that for yourself in a way that's unique to you and your individual expression of you as source. So these examples are really only a snapshot of what is possible. And what we're moving into, think of everything that's been the driving force of who you are up till now, as maybe you're still thinking of yourself as this is pre-ascension for you. You haven't ascended yet. And so that snapshot or that blueprint of who you are would be your pre-ascension blueprint. And in fact, that is intact. It doesn't go anywhere. But it's not the complete picture of who you are. It's only level 1 of who you are. And one of the most unique and wonderful things about coming to the planet, deciding, volunteering, opting in to be here on the planet right now at this time in the Earth's timeline, meant that you would be able to opt into your level 2, which is your post-ascension shift. And those of you who feel the call, those of you who stuck around for the entirety of this talk, that's you. You're ready for this level 2. You're ready for this expanded level post-ascension shift blueprint where you access all of these things from your most divine, limitless, expansive self, where the possibility and your greatest potential for being is yet to be discovered. This is an exciting time. So I'm going to leave the link in the comments. If you guys have any questions, please reply here in the comments or reach out to me on Facebook Messenger. Are you ready for your level 2? Are you ready to access these higher stellar perspectives? If you join at the full price, you will get the Channeling Masterclass bundle for free. That's an extra $149 value. But there is also a payment plan for Consciousness Mechanics. It's the book, and it's an 8-week program. We start September 19th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. There is a private Facebook group because there's going to be a lot of discussion, a lot of questions that you guys are going to have. So it's going to be a very high touch, high support program with lots of answers to your questions. So the Facebook group is for discussion and Q&A, and also bonus material. If you've taken a course with me before, you know there's always bonus material. All the calls will be recorded and uploaded in the group. We will meet live on Zoom at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Thursday, starting September 19th. The companion book comes out on that day. If this speaks to you, if I speak to you, I would love to work with you in this program. It's $750 for the full price, or you can do 2 payments of $450. The link will be in the comments. I want to wish you guys so much love and peace, and I'll be talking to you again tomorrow.